All right. Eyewitness Testimony and Wrongful Convictions by Emily Martin. Yours truly, narrating. So starting off with an overview. So we'll go through key terms, a little introduction. We'll talk about advancements in science and research, which have led to what the leading causes of wrongful convictions are. Plot twist, eyewitness testimony and wrongful convictions, eyewitness testimony and conclusion and references. So to start, we'll go over some key terms. So we got eyewitness testimony. It's a legal term, refers to an account given by people of an event they have witnessed. An expert testimony, testimony about scientific, technical, or professional issue given by a person qualified to testify because of familiarity with the subject or special training in that field. So expert testimony might come from probably like a forensic psychologist or some other type of expert in whatever field they're delving into. Wrongful conviction is a conviction of a person for a crime that he or she did not commit. Obviously, I mean, it's in the it's kind of self-explanatory at that point. We got another legal term, exoneration, the act of clearing someone of blame or of an accusation or criminal charge. And then some other important key terms here are memory, the store of things learned and retained from an organism, aka in this case people, activity or experience as evidenced by modification of structure or behavior, or by recall and recognition. So we'll be talking about memory in here in this presentation. Another word that would be important to know is malleable. Capable of being altered or controlled by outside forces or influences. In this case, we'll be talking about the malleability of memory. And then also another key term to keep in mind is false memory, a psychological phenomenon whereby an individual recalls an event that never happened or an actual occurrence substantially differently from the way it was transpired. So this would be sometimes in certain cases, somebody maybe being questioned about like a murder or some sort of crime, and after a while they'll start to believe they actually did it and create some false memory, and so on and so forth. These are some key terms to keep in mind while going through. Let's see. So, brief introduction. When investigating a crime, it may be helpful to gather information from anyone who witnessed the incident. However, the information being gathered by eyewitnesses may not always be the most reliable. Through the recent advancements in DNA research, investigators can more accurately solve crimes and decrease the rate of wrongful convictions. So, we're in 2022 now. Technology, science, gotten advanced. Research studies have tested the malleability of human memory and examined how accurately eyewitnesses could recall the details of certain events they had witnessed. Additionally, it was found that under certain circumstances, people may unknowingly create false memories that have led to wrongful convictions or confessions. But in this case, we'll be focusing on the convictions. Using the data collected from multiple research studies, there have been certain methods created to improve the accuracy of eyewitness testimonies. So there are some key factors that they have observed to have more accuracy, but we'll go into that a little bit later. All right, so we got advancements in science and research. So advancements in DNA research and data have made it possible, for crime investigators to more accurately solve criminal cases. Additionally, these advancements are helping to prove the innocence of people who have been wrongfully convicted and are serving time for it, which, that sounds like a bad day. The National Registry of Exonerations reports that nearly 2,800 wrongful convictions have been reversed since 1989. Personally, when I read that statement, I was baffled at that number. I didn't realize it was such a high number of wrongful convictions going on, so it was kind of alarming on my end. this discovery had led researchers to investigate the causes of the high rate of wrongful convictions. Obviously, it's an issue and it's something that needs to be addressed. So some researchers have done some studies and collected a bunch of data and put it together. So they found the leading causes of wrongful convictions, so researchers found multiple factors that had contributed to innocent people being wrongfully convicted for a crime. Which a lot of these, like, it's big jumps in these numbers, which is a little crazy to me too. So their findings included eyewitness misidentification, unvalidated or improper forensic science, false confessions or admissions, government misconduct, informants, inadequate defense. And you see here that eyewitness misidentification is, like, majorly the leading cause. And I feel like it also could play into a little bit of this unvalidated or improper forensic science category too, but just 68%, almost 70%. Leading causes of wrongful convictions. The data showed that eyewitness misidentifications are the leading cause of wrongful convictions. I found this little meme funny, so I figured I'd put that in. Little comedic relief. An additional resource states that eyewitness misidentifications are known to have played a role in 70% of the 349 wrongful convictions, which were overturned based on DNA evidence. Which, that's like an alarming high rate of like wrongful convictions just due to eyewitnesses. So we look into that a little more, because obviously it's an issue. Psychologists wanted to address it, other researchers, and obviously the criminal justice field wants to fix this issue. So the factor in question here is the eyewitness's memory. Memory is malleable. That's always something super important to keep in mind. Research has shown that in certain circumstances, a person can falsely remember committing a crime that was actually committed by someone else. Memory can be contaminated by a number of things: suggestion, time, erroneous information, drugs, alcohol, you name it, obviously. A lot of things can affect memory. This has led to multiple research studies involving eyewitness recollection and their confidence in what they can recall. So here I have included two little research studies, and within these studies they had found, so within the two research studies combined, it was kind of similar findings as well, so they were it was easy to put them all together. An eyewitness's recollection of events is more accurate when they tell the story for the first time. So a lot of the time now, criminal investigators will use key things from their original story and take that into account more than when they tell it again, maybe 5 or 6 times during an interview. And the story would become more contaminated the more they told it. Obviously, it's kind of like the game of telephone to me. That's what that reminded me of. And the more that time went on. So, obviously, as time goes on, we kind of remember things differently. Our memory isn't always the most reliable source. The more confident the eyewitness is in their recollection of events, the more accurate their story was to the actual event. So based off of their original story, they would be asked how confident they were in what they were recollecting, and that would help tell how accurate that might have been. So usually when someone's very confident about their answers, they're usually more correct. So they kind of tested that using different cases and, oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so the recollection of events more accurate was more accurate with their confidence. After hearing the eyewitness's initial recollection of events, the accuracy of their story may improve when they are then asked a series of questions that are clustered and specific to details of the event. So, they would hear the initial story and then they would kind of delve back into more details, like clustering some questions. So, maybe what color t-shirt was that person wearing, what color hair, you know, maybe like asking different questions about their appearance to cluster, maybe different questions about their mannerisms, yada yada yada, get the gist. And it was able to, that helped the eyewitness be able to recollect more accurate information as they're more focused into the story and more into the details. So these were some things they take into account now as they further investigate crimes to help decrease the rate of wrongful convictions, because that's a crazy number to me. So in conclusion, overall, although eyewitness testimonies are proven to be one of the leading causes of wrongful convictions, it does not mean they are not helpful. Because obviously, if you're not there, you don't know what's going on, but sometimes eyewitnesses can collect some good data. So overall, to help decrease the rate of wrongful convictions, there needed to be improvements made in how eyewitness testimonies are examined, obviously. Research showed that time and confidence are two important factors to be considered when interviewing an eyewitness about an event. So obviously you're going to want to get eyewitnesses right away, and start questioning them right away before they start telling the story over and over to like their friends, family, who knows. Because the more they tell it, the more contaminated it's going to be, and the less accurate it'll be. As well as, you know, gauging confidence always, you know, asking how confident they are in every question they answer is going to improve more of the accuracy as well. And included in this little conclusion are just put in the tying in some other fields that may be involved in this kind of situations or in the research involved here. So the accuracy of eyewitness testimonies has implications in the field of psychology. Obviously, we're testing malleability of memory recall studies, and research. I mean, a lot to do with the brain, so psychology is going to be involved. The accuracy of eyewitness testimonies has implications in the fields of criminal justice as well. So like interviewing eyewitnesses, checking the accuracy of evidence, yada yada, so on and so forth. Eyewitness testimonies and wrongful convictions have implications in the field of law. So exoneration of innocent people is a good example here. But another good example is making sure an eyewitness that's testifying in court is making accurate statements as well. And yeah, so there's that. Good little conclusion. Here I've just added all my references and scene. Thank you.